Today I'm going to show how to add on to your egg crate sculptures with additional materials like tissue paper, uh, paper Easter grass, and make additional textures part of your design. So the wonderful thing about the egg crate sculpting is that you don't have to leave it just plain. You can actually add on various different materials. And if you're going to add on a lot of that stuff, you may need some additional structure. So things like pipe cleaners or even toothpicks are really great as sort of stabilizers for that additional information. So you see here I've made sort of the trunk of a tree, and now I've painted it a brown and gold. And I'm going to make now with my tissue paper and paper grass is I'm going to add the leaves of the tree. I'm going to use toothpicks to help give myself a little more structural space to build the branches and the green space of my tree. So I'm going to take a toothpick and I'm just going to press down firmly. I don't have to shove it super duper hard, and I want to make sure I'm not letting it wiggle. But as I push down, I might take two hands and just sort of push. And if you need an adult to help with this, you can ask someone. I'm sure they can help you out for a minute because it doesn't take very much time. So I'm just going to add a couple of toothpicks into my sculpture here. And you just want to push it down. If you're really worried about these coming out, you might put a little dot of glue first, but they should be pretty snug. They're not going to come out super a lot. So I'm just going to add three of these in here just to have something to sort of glue on and some structure inside my big treetop, which I'm going to be making here. So if these end up being too long, you can always, take them and break them off. It's not very hard to break a toothpick. I would hold it where you want it to break at and then break from there. If you just sort of try to break it from up here, it could break anywhere, and then you may not get the length you want. It might end up being too short or too long. So you can also use a pair of scissors, but I would ask for some help because you don't want to break your scissors. So ask mom or dad for a pair of scissors that maybe don't work as well, and those would be good ones to cut the toothpicks with. Or you can just break them, just like I showed you. Okay, so now I'm ready to start doing some gluing. And I'm going to do organic shapes, and I'm actually going to start with a darker color of tissue paper. And because I'm doing an organic form, like a tree, I do not want cut shapes. If you're doing something that is less organic, you may want to have cut tissue paper, but for me, I'm just going to tear it. So I'm going to take my tissue paper, and I'm going to tear off a piece. And it doesn't need to be super big, okay? It can be, but it doesn't need to be. And then I'm going to take that tissue paper and I'm going to wrap it around the end of a pencil. And this could be any size of a thing. You could do a pencil, you could do a marker, it could just be your finger, but your finger might start to get kind of gluey. Then I'm going to take some of my glue. This is just my regular school glue. Shake it down towards the tip, okay? And then as that tissue paper is wrapped around your pencil, I'm going to take my glue and squeeze a little dot onto the end there. Ooh, glue is kind of stuck. All right, so here's a tip for those at home. If you find that your glue bottle gets stuck like this and no glue will come out, troubleshooting of glue bottles. Close your glue, scratch at the top. Sometimes that'll be enough to clear the clog, and then open the glue back up. Make sure there's that gap between the cap and the cap in order for that glue to really be open. Then when you try to squeeze, if it still doesn't come out, here's another really great use for toothpicks. I'm just going to use one that's on my tree here. You can sort of wiggle it around in that tip until you can sort of push it in a little bit. Then maybe your glue will come out. And if that still doesn't work, you'll want to here is the foolproof way of getting your glue bottle clear again. Take off the cap, soak it in water, warm water for 15 to 20 minutes, and then it should totally be clear and be ready to go. Then you can take your toothpick and really clear it out. But I'm going to do the little cheat method of just putting my toothpick on the inside and pushing out. Do you see how it comes all the way through? Now I can really get that glue to be cleared out. Okay, so now my glue bottle should work. This thing is totally covered with glue now, but hey, that'll be okay. All right, so now it'll be really stuck in that hole. That's good. I'm going to put my cap back on my bottle here. Get my tissue back on. Shake my glue one more time down, and then squeeze, and it should come out. There it is. Okay, and now I'm going to take the tissue and I'm going to pick some place for it to go onto, and I'm just going to hold it there with that pencil, and I'm going to count to about 30. So each little piece of tissue paper that you do, you're going to need to add a little more glue to it. And let's do this one more time. So I sort of shape it around my tissue, and I've got some glue on my finger, so I'm just going to use that. And then I'm going to pick where I want it to go, and I'm going to count, pressing down and holding down. Okay. No, if you don't wait long enough, it won't really set up. So this will take a little while. It'll take some time, but you can really make some really cool and beautiful things. You can even glue tissue paper to tissue paper. So let me show how to do that really quick before we sign off here. Take this, wrap that around one more time. Little dab of glue. And you can glue tissue paper to tissue paper, but you do want to make sure that you just sort of hold the tissue paper with your finger on the back side here, just to give it a little more support while you are holding it in place. Okay, and then when you let go, just be very gentle, and it will dry that way. So I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to do a layer of dark, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a layer of lighter green, and it's really going to start filling out and making my tree.